First we start in the Western Hemisphere. Life wasn't always a walk in the park here. Civilization was dirty and a mess, but we should confess that many innovations began to progress. The civilization had three main parts. Maya, Aztec, and Olmec were the start. Let's begin with the first and foremost. They were the Mayans. They lived right on the coast. They settled in the Yucatan, which began in 2500 BC, man. They settled quite comfortably, but they didn't like company. Don't worry, there's more to tell. They grew three main crops that are watered by wells. They were known as the Three Sisters: corn, maize, and beans. Now listen to the mixer, please. Now let's mention the architecture was really an extension. They built pyramids that rivaled Egypt, even though they never took the trip. Mayas, like the Olmecs, were polytheistic, and life centered around gods that really were strict. They loved the rain god, who was a jaguar. Because he was the one who controlled their crops, he really was a star. They carved the jaguar on their buildings. He was treated like royalty and caused many killings. Now, don't get me wrong, these people were real smart, even though you may think not, because they had no Walmart. They created books known as codices. It preserved their tradition, knowledge, and culture, though one never notices. They knew a lot about calendars, astronomy too. They just looked at the sky and went, woohoo! Without the lights on, you can't see anything. But for the Maya, they saw everything. Now I know you hate math, but the Maya really liked it. They created the first zero and really hyped it. Okay, now let's move on. Our next destination is the Olmec's front lawn. Gulf of Mexico was where they stayed, where they created a civilization that amazes us today. Yeah, 1500 BC was when they landed. Life was easily compared to the Maya, who really were stranded. The Maya had a reputation for agriculture, though the Olmecs were not a sculptor of this amazing culture. They made an innovation called irrigation. It meant water did all the work, because the Olmecs had no patience. Astrology really gave them insight, but in hindsight, all they could do was look up and think, why does that light blink? They learned all things like how to make calendars and why it was such a challenger. After identifying constellations, solar eclipses were known by the nations. Okay, don't worry, we'll be brief. The Olmec worshipped the forces of nature, which meant that they didn't eat beef. They wanted to know how the weather affected their crop. Why, oh why, couldn't the gods make it stop? Don't worry, don't cry, I know that this is sad, but the Olmecs came to an end. It really was bad. Scientists are still stumped today. Why couldn't the Olmecs stay? Last but not least, we have the Aztecs. They began as nomadic tribes. What a contest. The Aztec arrived in the 13th century. They developed an advanced society. Right in their capital, Tenochtitlan, the Aztecs began the dominant force, Mon. They developed an intricate social plan with political, religious, and commercial organization. Like the Maya, the Aztec followed gods who were strict, who were known. Their calendars focused on religious holidays, but then there was sacrifice. That doesn't seem very nice. The Aztec took over many old traditions, so there isn't much to say, but just keep listening. The end of the empire went out with a bang. The Spanish took it over, though they let it hang. Spanish conquistador Hernan Cortes started setting up some forts. The Spanish took over in 1521, so unfortunately, this rap is almost done. From then on out, Mesoamerica was ruined, leaving the Spanish to rule and take all the gold, which left the villages to be stewing. The final end came to pass. Scientists are still baffled by what killed the mass. Was it disease, war, famine, or weather? We may never know, but that ends this get-together.